I'd like to call the Board of Elections to order. Michael, go ahead.
Good morning, Michael Anderson, Chief Clerk, Voter Registration. I'm here today asking approval for the final approval for the polling place changes that we proposed. I believe that was March. Those would affect the polling locations in the Lebanon First Ward Middle, moving to the Lebanon Church of the Brethren on Locust Street, Lebanon 6th Ward, moving to the Lebanon Community Health Center, Bethel Mount Zion, moving to the Mount Zion Fire Company Social Hall, which is actually just one building over, and in South Annville, moving to the Fontana Chapel on Fontana Avenue. We did have public comment. I did have 2 comments. I did share those with you via email, but I will just briefly go over them, which was one was from Laura LeBeau for her talk show. She had somebody call in concerning the Lebanon Community Health Center, and it just was where we would actually be voting. And they thought maybe they had to go in, register, back in rooms, and I explained to them that at that location, you actually just go into the entrance. We'll have signs. It's immediately to the right, and there's a meeting room right there. So there's no check-in. You don't go back with the patients, anything like that. It's basically lobby into the meeting room. And the other public comment we had regards to from Patricia Stevens about the church that we selected, and she had a different church that she would have preferred us to go to. However, that church we actually did use as a polling place in the past, but they have a daycare there. And I explained to her one of the reasons we were no longer there is because there was some issues or security concerns regarding using that church with the daycare and voting at the same time. So those were the 2 public comments that I had, and I request final approval to make those polling place changes.
All right, do I have a motion to make those polling place changes for Michael?
I'll make a motion to approve the 4 polling place changes.
I'll second the motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second to make those changes. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of making the polling place changes indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a couple of housekeeping, I guess, items, things to keep you up to date on. So, as you know, mail-in ballot is all the rage, and we've been actually asking individuals to vote that way, and for the safety of not only themselves, but also when we get to June 2nd, which is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020 is the new primary election date. That for safety concerns, less people, giving people the option to vote by mail. We are now at this point, we have just over 3,000 applications and ballots mailed. Just for reference, that is the total number that we had in the 2016 general election for president. We've already hit that number, and we are 6 weeks away from the election. So, and we have a lot more to process. We're getting applications daily. The Republican National Committee sent out a mailer to, I believe, super voters. We're getting a lot of those back, and obviously the online has been very, what's the word I want to say, is very popular with voters, going on to votespa.com and going through that application process. So we were getting a lot of requests that way. So my staff has been working very hard, doing a great job with that and getting all of those out. We also set up thanks to the Treasurer's Office, talked to them yesterday. We're going to share the same box outside the municipal building for any individual that feel instead of mailing their ballot back, if they want to drop it off, they can drop it off into that box. Made arrangements with the Treasurer's Office, and thank you, Sally, to you and your staff for that, along with the Sheriff's Office, that will be checking that and getting those. Just felt like it was better to use just one box instead of having multiple boxes out there, and the Sheriff's deputies having to let people know where to drop what. We just felt we could just do that internally and box out there, it is marked tax payments, and now ballots can go in that as well.
May I comment on that, Michael? There's a lot of people who are concerned about that, and how would you put their minds at ease that I've heard you say, and of course I know that the deputy sheriffs are there watching over it, and that box comes in every night. It's not out overnight. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And there's also cameras on the deputies as well. So there's like triple checks in place. Is that correct?
Yes, and it is being checked every day by the treasurer's office, and we're going to also do our part to make sure we go down and get those ballots every night. But because they have it and they're checking it, they're also going to let us know when there's anything in there. But yes, it's very secure, chain of custody, everything like that. I will tell you, I prefer if they mail it personally, but it is an option for them if they feel that they do want to drop it off here. They can do that.
Thank you.
The other point I wanted to make was just some deadline changes due to the primary changing to June 2nd. Now the last day to register to vote is May 18th. So I do want to let individuals know that if they have not yet registered, they can do that. That's up to May 18th. The last day to apply for a mail-in or a civilian absentee ballot is Tuesday, May 26th by 5 o'clock. However, please do not wait to May 26th. If you know that's what you want to do, please do it sooner than later. With the sheer number that we have, we just want to make sure we have it, process it, and get that out to you so you can get the ballot back to us, because the voted ballot does need to be here by 8 o'clock on June 2nd. That is election day, but it has to be here. So no postmarks. We must have the voted ballot. So that is a change, obviously, with Act 77 that went into place last year. We do have more time between the application deadline and when we can receive the ballots, but we just ask people to please not delay. If they know or think that's the way they want to do that, to please go ahead and do that now.
Anything else, Michael?
Just want to let the board know that we have sent letters out because of our poll worker training being canceled. We have sent a letter to every poll worker, letting them know, obviously, the day change, letting us know if something happens where they can't work. We've given them some instructions on notes because we're not going to have training. I'm not going to reschedule that, at least not in the capacity that we had it in the past, because they don't feel it at this point makes sense to bring 100 people into the auditorium. So we have sent them all letters. We will be following up with them as we did probably at the beginning of May. Just kind of want everybody to be safe, stay home, at this point, and then they will hear more from us as we get closer to the election. We also sent a letter to all the polling places letting them know the change and to alert us at this point if they feel that date's going to be an issue. And then as once again we get into May, we'll be contacting them all individually. At this point, no place has told us we absolutely cannot use them, so that's good. However, we anticipate that's very possible. We may not be able to be in all 60 precincts, and we have started plans in place for that. The Department of State has been working really hard about getting us precinct kits, so like masks, gloves, sanitizer, things like that. So that would be great if they're able to do that. And then I did talk to Bob Dowd a little bit about what we may be able to supply here. As you know, trying to get some of this stuff just through the normal means is very difficult. A lot of stuff's just on back order. So that's kind of where we are with that. Just telling people to be patient with our poll workers and the polling places, and we'll know more as we get closer to the election day. And then also just letting voters know that if they are voting by mail, we have caught up pretty much with the backlog that we had, but just to be patient as far as if they have submitted an application, don't get antsy, don't think you have to submit another one, because we're getting a lot of duplicates, which slows us down. Your ballot should be out within the next week and a half at the latest, because we are pretty much have all of this processed and are able to start getting all those mailed out now.
All right, is that it? Anyone have any questions for Michael?
Just a reminder for any attendees that have questions, use the raise hand function.
There are no questions, so I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to adjourn the Board of Elections. We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you very much.